Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome back to Supergirl. This time we are on episode 2 of season 6, so I presume at this point we will officially be moving into season 7, since the last one, despite being a release premiere, it definitely did story-wise feel like an actual finale for what happened in season 5, so now moving into some new content with season 7. The last one, we had Kara's back in the Phantom Zone again. Lex fired off a Phantom Zone transporter shot from within the fortress, and Kara got caught in the crossfire, and so she's back in there, just like old times, coming full circle again. So now, I mean, again, I don't know how much of the season they intend on making about getting her back from the Phantom Zone, but hopefully it's not too much. Even like regardless of how many episodes there are, hopefully it's not like a too long of a drawn out kind of topic. But I definitely think like having Kara and Ergo Supergirl be absent from the city and from the story just felt like a little bit could kind of offer some interesting kind of plot devices and interesting character stuffs, but we'll see exactly how long that goes for. But she's back there, and Lex has been arrested. He has been arrested and exposed for the villainous villain that he is to the world, and he's been arrested and he was put in jail. And Lena decided to give him and Lillian and all of their other associates, like Otis as well, she decided to give them all one last parting gift using Myriad and actually use Q-Waves to wipe their minds completely of Supergirl's identity. So they still know who they are. They're just not a complete kind of mental reboot or anything. But now none of them know that Kara and Supergirl are the same person. They presumably know that Kara and Supergirl still exist, but just no connection remains there. So a very neat thing. And I think for like a premiere, it did actually give us some nice kind of reconciliation and connection between Kara and Lena, and pretty much the entire team with Lena as well. So Lena actually actively working and fighting to do some good again and to work with them again, as opposed to against them, or even like with them, but with reluctance, like in Crisis. But now they are officially kind of back together, and there's friendships being restored and reconciliation is happening. So it was good. It was good. It was good to see. So we had all of that good stuff. And by the end of it, we had Alex discovering her new superhero identity. She is now Sentinel. Sentinel was someone that Jean personally knew back on Mars, a kind of hero friend that reminded him that Alex reminded him a lot of, and fought for the same things and had all of the same kind of heroic kind of qualities and everything. So she has taken the name Sentinel, and she even gets her own plaque. She gets her own plaque on the Watchtower calling panel along with the other heroes. So she's official now. Alex is official. She's just like suit to weapons and skills and a name and a pack and everything. Like she's going places. She is going higher, further, and faster. So we love to see it. We do love to see it. But we had that, and then Lena also did kind of like after the kind of pain that she has suffered and inadvertently inflicted across season 5, she did pretty strongly advise Alex to tell Kelly the truth that Kara and Supergirl are one and the same person, and to avoid any secrecy or any future tension and stuff. So I'm hoping we get that right off the bat. I feel like it would be in it like a good enough thing to open up the season with, like start off the season with Kelly finding this out and them actually having like a talk, and even telling her that she's Sentinel now and she gets her own plaque and all that kind of stuff, and get some Sentinel and Guardian content. Hopefully, if not this episode, I mean the conversation at least. I'd like to see it happen in this episode. But if not this episode, then next episode could be just as fine as well. But that will be cool to see. So hopefully, Alex and Kelly having some conversational scenes together. That would be nice. That would be nice. And speaking of conversations, we had Brainy and Nia too. Thingy. Lena is not the only one who has inadvertently inflicted pain, but Brainy has pretty much done the same thing, if not worse, because he's done it knowing that those could be the consequences. He was warned. He was warned against working with his friends and warned towards working with Lex by his own kind of alternate universe counterpart, and then Lex and his alternate universe self actually advised that he cut off ties to his own friends and be like a new kind of emotionless Brainy and all that jazz. So him and Nia kind of patched things up again, and he even offered her his Legion ring, which she did use. We actually saw her using her powers along with the Legion ring to actually help the others take down Lex in the fortress, and that was super cool. But now going forward, I think they are just gonna set some new boundaries, set some new rules, establish like second, like a reboot of their relationship together. So it should be fun to see what those two funky kids get up to in the future. So that should be cool. But yeah, it's pretty much all I have. So I think, yeah, we ended with Kara literally just, like, because Supergirl is gone, Kara also has to be gone. Like, we can't have the convenience of Jean shapeshifting into her again. But both Andrea, we had Andrea too, I almost forgot Andrea. Andrea had some stuff. She had been completely dropped by her father. Her father had actually blamed her for Obsidian, for Leviathan even doing what they did to Obsidian, and like having infiltrated the company and bringing their stocks crashing down and everything. But then she did use his account to actually export some final shares and stuff from the company before it all crashed and burned. So I think she may well be using that to actually, because now I think she's actually confirmed her position being 100% dedicated to Catco. So I think those shares could be used to invest in them and actually boost them up in some way. So yeah, and we did have a Cat Grant name drop. Mia did actually tell them, Cat Grant the Cat actually pulled Kara out of the city as like a cover story. She actually pulled her out of the city for a case and stuff. So hopefully that name drop alone obviously was improv, but at the same time it's like, final season, Supergirl, when you put those two phrases together, or that word and that one phrase together, you gotta bring Cat Grant back. Right, for one thing, you can't do a final season without Cat Grant, and for another thing, you can't name drop Cat Grant but not give us Cat Grant. That is just, that's just playing with feelings, and it's super duper unnecessary. So hopefully, at some point down the line, we do get Cat Grant back. Hopefully it's a surprise. Hopefully it's not like a, it would definitely feel better if it was a surprise where she literally comes in out of nowhere and being like, oh, we only actually name dropped you for convenience sake, but now you're here now, so Supergirl fans are happy. So yeah, hopefully at some point, and as a surprise. It would only be true Cat Grant fashion to pop in as a surprise and her just walking in like she literally owns the place, even though she technically previously owned the place. So that would only be true Cat Grant fashion, just her walking in as if, everything's still the same and she still has power, which she does. In some sense. It's literally named after her, so there's all that. So hopefully soon. But yeah, that is pretty much all I can remember from the first one. So on to episode 2, on to the second episode of this final season. And in terms of reaction, this one will only be like the fair use stuff, so like the highlights of the actual episode. But if you guys want to catch the full unedited version, the full length version, that one will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that over there. But yeah, on to Supergirl, Season 6, Episode 2. Let's go. Luther Foundation Blood Bank. Oh, are we gonna get vampires now? That would be cool. Don't get me wrong, that would be awesome. But are we gonna get vampires now? Alien vampires? That would be... Alien vampires! Are we getting vampires? Alien vampires! Did I guess right?
This is going to suck for you. No pun intended.
Are you sure about that? You sure about that, Brainy? Oh, God. Oh, yeah, of course. Tell me Jean's there. Jean is there, yeah. Not gonna lie, I was expecting him to come out with, like, a net to catch it in or something. Yeah.
I'm not really a vampire.
We know. Your name is Silas.
Silas.
You're an alien. From Transylvania to be exact.
An alien vampire. Yeah.
Vampire stories come from.
Great.
Transylvania. Alien vampires are a thing. Alien vampires.
Underemphasize. We're trusting you with this information because you're the only one who can help.
Mm.
And we think you're the kind of guy who would. Prove us right.
You avoid killing people, now's your chance to save one. Now's your chance to directly save one.
Conspiracy and manslaughter and go away for 25 years.
I'm sure your
He
lawyer
doesn't.
advised you to accept it.
He did.
The Tessmacher girl's testimony will be damning.
Eves,
And every day
yeah.
you spend fruitlessly...
Is Lena gonna testify? Tell me, Lena has years worth of testimonies. Yeah.
I have been shot and killed and risen from the dead before, and I will not be subject.
Not through your own ability. You had the monitor's hand in that, you little dick.
You should know I always have a plan.
Calm down.
Is this Owen?
There are no phantoms here.
Is this Owen?
Who are you?
You bear the glyph of my house.
He's a
So
Kryptonian.
you must be some sort of mirage.
He's from the House of El?
This is the glyph of the House of El. Father?
Kara.
She has a dad? She has her father's still alive and in the Phantom Zone.
Fortress of one of my enemies.
Oh, her hair's different. I just noticed her hair's different. Yeah, no more bangs, just classic side parting. Yeah, it looks great. It's great.
I wanted to die there with them.
Oh, that music is so good. I love that track. Yeah, she used it against the tornado in season 1, yeah.
At the base, if we can find the
To
anchor.
try would only invite the Phantom's wrath.
But if we do not provoke them,
They will leave us be.
No, that can't be an
We're
option.
trapped here forever.
That cannot be an option.
But we may yet survive.
Think of the good it could do if you aired your first-hand experience and asked for forgiveness publicly.
I thought I was coming here to catch up with a friend, but you're lobbying for an interview.
I mean, it would be traumatizing to have to revisit all of it, but yeah, that is a very good point. No, you know what, that is completely fair on her side. Kelly! Big Billy!
Figured you guys could use some lunch.
Next week might not be possible. The last time I built this portal, it took 6 months of testing to make
6
sure I didn't burn to
months?
death when I stepped through it. I already have not saving my husband on my conscience. I don't need your death too.
God damn.
But those feelings are there to remind you that your love was real, and that is something that no phantom can take from you. Look, I know
Kelly is
you
amazing.
can do
I have to
this.
say that. Kelly is
You can
just
build that portal.
pure
You
gold.
can
She
make
is
it
pure
work.
gold.
And when you do, we will save Supergirl. And every life she saves from then on will be thanks to you.
Pure gold. Pure,
And thanks
the
to all.
purest of golds.
Terrible moment.
Wow, this is
Guilty of every
an
charge.
incredible Zoom call. This is an incredible Zoom call for a freaking court meeting. Oh, not the burgers! Come on.
And I know it can't be easy.
You couldn't have her on a Zoom call instead of having to put her in the same room as that maniac? Really?
What's the occasion? And do you remember what you said? Have you not sworn to tell the truth today, Miss Tessmacher?
I have. Objection.
Then why did you cook me dinner?
Because I was in love with you.
Or Eve Tessmacher?
Oh,
Jilted
no.
lover, hell-bent on revenge, setting
Yeah.
up the man who would not have her.
You made me impersonate people. You made me kill. You made me do all of
And
it.
Eve Tessmacher's testimony be stricken from the record and her plea deal revoked. Oh, and if you feel like throwing in a charge of perjury, that'd be cool too, Your Honor.
You son of a bitch. Completely managed to overthrow her. Lena, I don't want to have to put Lena through it, but she has the power. She has the power to change everything.
If I don't speak to the brainwashing charges, then he might go free.
So let him. Your
No!
brother nearly threw everything away.
Lex won't hesitate to take you down with him. He knows better than anyone how to get under your skin.
No, I'm counting on it.
Huh. Can she not show people how manipulative he is? Can manipulation and character stuff not be like a factor in this kind of thing? The brain spores. The brain spores. Okay. The distorted vision doesn't necessarily help, does it? No.
But I am going to do everything I can to escape it, even if it means I just get an inch further every day.
Are we sure her father's real? I can't help but question that. Like, that could be playing off her fear too, like her fear of... I don't know, that probably wouldn't tie in because it's now post-crisis, but... Yeah, I don't know.
The people would like to call one more witness.
What could one more witness possibly testify to?
Is it who I think it is?
Everything else.
There we go.
Chariots. To do no harm.
Lena Cherry. Yeah. Oh god, okay, yeah. She is gonna just... whoosh, turn this entire case on its head.
Because you're a Luther, I kept you by my side when you were too timid and weak to do what was
Keep going,
necessary.
keep going. Show them who you really
It
are.
takes guts to wield power.
Show them who you really are. That's it. Play it right into her hand, Lex. Play it right into her
Wield my
hands.
power. If you try to build a good life for yourself, there's always somebody waiting to tear you down and punish you for your greatness. I did not commit the crimes of which I stand accused, but if I had, who could blame me? If push came to shove, you'd have done it.
It's no longer one pocket dimension, but many. An interdimensional archipelago.
Well,
Fuck's
Dreamer should
sake.
still be able to find her in there.
Every dimension has its own vibrational frequency. We would have to go to each one before Dreamer can even try, and it...
That's great. That's great. Oh, combat rolling. Oh! Again, powers, skills, yes. Guns, dream blasts. Yeah, he has to get back to the machine. Yeah, loving the combat rolls and the... Yeah. Oh. Oh no, oh no. Don't take Silas, don't take Silas.
Your dream power helped me in the past. Allow me to retain a favor.
Great. Yeah, Martians and Dreamer. Yeah, Martians and Dreamer. There we go. Yep, okay, push him back in. There we go, push him back in.
Mr. Foreman.
What have they got planned?
Has the jury reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty on all counts.
Making a difference as a free man.
Oh, jeez. Oh.
21st century keyboards suck.
Oh, I assume 53rd ones are just indestructible, just made of freaking vibranium or some shit. Oh, and she got the pot stickers. Oh, not the pot stickers. Oh.
This isn't just a hard path. I don't see any path at all. We're nowhere, Kelly. We are nowhere. And she is alone. And I might not ever see her again.
Mr. Lena, who in the process of
Wait,
testifying today
what?
may have implicated herself in criminal activity.
Oh, for God. Please do not throw this all back on Lena now.
No one could have expected the jury to sympathize. I'll keep going after Lex with everything Catco's got.
And if the justice system doesn't stop him, then I will.
I would love to see that. I would love to see it.
I admit I didn't expect your little
Chess.
performance to be so effective.
That's how you know it's a Lex Luthor
You
scene.
underestimated me
Chess.
even more than I did, Mother.
Damn it.
Oh no, but Silas was infected.
Drink my O negative.
Oh, he keeps his blood in the fridge. Silas, no, he was infected. Silas was infected by the Phantoms. Oh, Christ. Oh, God. Okay, now they're out on the run. The portal. The portal.
Where did they just go?
Looks like the portal's only open and closed long enough for a Phantom to get through.
Well,
So
then I
you-
guess we're gonna have to catch a Phantom.
Yeah, you'd have to go through with a Phantom. Yeah. God damn. God damn. Okay, yeah, very interesting episode. Very interesting. Yeah, the opening, I figured, you know what, I was taking very kind of, you know, fantasized guesses. I had no idea they were actually going to go down the alien vampire route. I had no idea that's what they were going to do. I was like, you know, oh, like, it would be fun if they did do this, but are they really? Because, I mean, they could do, like, they've done wacky things before, like freaking alien dragons and shit, so alien vampires wouldn't be completely outside their league. But, you know, and seeing it was a blood bank too, yeah, like a vampire, like a genuine vampire, you know, like a normal earthly vampire would be weird enough, but then, like, you know, it would be Supergirl levels of wacky and appropriate levels of wacky to be like, oh, here's an alien vampire, and you see the guy coming and he's got fangs and everything, so we actually got an alien vampire. I am very happy Supergirl gave me that much, at least, an alien vampire. From Transylvania. There's a planet called Transylvania. So, you know, Transylvania and Silas and his kind of kind is where, I think, apparently, I mean, they even mentioned, apparently, that's where most of Earth's, like humans' stories about vampires and stuff actually come from. So, it's wacky enough for Supergirl, and it's just crazy enough to make you actually want something like that to be real. So that was fun. So alien vampires, and we met Silas. Silas lost his husband Owen to the Phantom Zone, and I think, yeah, like even like the way they talked about the Phantom Zone definitely felt like definitely, I think, I don't know what movie it is. I don't know. There's a movie with the tagline "Breaking Out." Is it Breaking Out? I think. I vaguely remember there being a movie like about a prison escape type of movie of some kind, being like, I think it was like breaking out is the easy part, but then breaking in is what's tough. Like breaking out is possible, breaking in is even harder. So I feel like I definitely got that vibe from Phantom Zone, like from this, like from the kind of Phantom Zone breaking, because I mean you're breaking in, and it's like not really something that many people do. So, and I think you'd think that would be easy because like no one really wants to go into the Phantom Zone. Like the Phantom Zone is essentially an alien prison. That's essentially what it is. So it's like breaking in isn't. I mean, on the one hand, breaking in isn't something you would expect people to do. So then you would imagine, once you're inside, even if it's of your own volition, if you're breaking into that prison, then you're committing a crime, you're trespassing, you're, breaking and entering pretty much. So you then pay the punishment for that crime, which might be, you wanted to break in so badly, fine, you can stay here forever then. But then you'd imagine breaking out would be the harder part, but then breaking in, it's like but on the other hand, it's like also, if one person gets out but another person stays in, then that person could then try and break in to break the other person out, and that would be like a cooperative kind of breakout kind of mission that they would want to avoid. So then breaking in is even harder for that particular purpose. But it definitely had that whole kind of vibe around it, which I kind of appreciate and loved. I haven't seen the movie I'm talking about. Like the movie I kind of mentioned, I haven't actually. I've totally forgotten what the name is. I think it starred Kurt Russell. Maybe I think Kurt Russell with like an eye patch or something. I don't know. I don't know if he's the one I'm thinking of. Like a white guy with long hair. I don't know. I think it might have been Kurt Russell. Maybe it could have been someone else. Like a really kind of old like 80s 90s movie maybe. About breaking in and out of prison. So I don't know if if the movie sounds familiar to you, then feel free to let me know what it is in the comments. But yeah, like a tagline that goes like something like breaking out is easy, but then breaking in is just impossible or like insane or something along those lines. But either way, I like that whole thing. And yes, Silas the alien vampire. So as we saw from the ending, he was infected. He was infected by the Phantoms, and the Phantoms are pretty much the guards. They're like the guards / wardens / like the Dementors of the Phantom Zone. They are pretty much, and even the way he described them, they do kind of operate on like a similar wavelength, on similar wavelengths to the Dementors from Harry Potter. They kind of suck all the joy out of you, and they turn your worst fears against you and make you relive it in the Phantom Zone until you're not entirely sure if it's just your fears or if it's actually the Phantoms anymore. So. Sounds very, very, very similar concept, and they fly and they're pale and demented, and it pretty much matches up. But of course, it is the Phantoms of the Phantom Zone, and they give the Phantom Zone its name too. So I mean, that then makes me wonder: is the Phantom Zone? I mean, it was changed after Crisis, which I'll get to. It was changed after Crisis, but then it makes me wonder: is the Phantom Zone something that pre-existed Krypton, or is it something that Kryptonians themselves actually created, and then because I mean. If they found it and then found it useful, then they employed the Phantom Zone's existence for their own gain, like to actually enforce their own kind of justice system and prison system and everything, then that would make sense. But if they built something maybe they created as a prison, if it, like something they built in like another dimension, then because then if they found it, I feel like I mean they're advanced, so they kind of know what they're doing. But I think at the same time, it kind of offers up that question of if they found it, then was it like risky opening it up? Was it like like them going in? Did they lose people discovering it the first time, or if they built it, then they clearly knew what they were doing to that extent? So I don't know, but either way, it works. It works for them. So the Phantom Zone is a very, very deadly thing, but Silas was infected, so I am very curious to see how we move forward with him and how he gets help from the team later on. Hopefully he gets his husband back. Hopefully he actually gets to rescue his husband along with Kara. It would be no. I was gonna say it would be super wacky if he was somehow connected to we never got his name, but Kara's dad. It was super wacky if he was connected to Kara's dad. But I was like, because that was gonna be my guess before we found out who he was. That was gonna be my guess. Like, because up until he mentioned the glyph, the crest on Kara's super suit being the House of El sigil. Like up until he mentioned that, I was like, wait, is this Owen? Because Owen is still in the Phantom Zone. Like maybe she's found Silas's husband. So I was like, wait, have they kind of united inside the Phantom Zone? But then he mentioned the glyph, and he mentioned it was his family's crest too. So I was like, wait, so then he's Kryptonian. Damn. I mean, there's been no mention as to what race Silas's husband is. Like, there's been no mention as to what race Owen is. I mean, yeah, like. He could have been. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'm reaching for that one, because I think Owen could. Owen still has to be alive. I mean, he has to be like a broken man because of his time spent in the Phantom Zone under the influence of the Phantoms. But at the same time, it's like surely he's still alive. I mean, because it would make sense given how much time he's been in there and how alone he's been too. Like we didn't see Owen at all, or see any hints that Owen could be alive. So I think that's kind of like a. I think on the one hand it could also be confirmation that he's probably kind of too broken to even show up, but also like just like them not really bothering to make any kind of confirmation as to whether he's alive or dead. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's possible to die in the. I mean, yeah, I don't know if it's possible to die. I mean, yeah, I don't know if it's possible to die in the Phantom Zone. I mean, if unless people are like so driven into that kind of state that they then kind of commit suicide or something. But then even then, I don't know if that's possible because like I mean, it's a prison. I mean, people in there are usually like if it's a prison, then it's kind of more logical that people in there are serving some kind of sentence. Or unlike Kara's dad, he went there of his own accord as like one final kind of escape route, and then he found himself trapped there for years upon years. So since the beginning of this series, that's a long time. That is a long time. Even factoring in all the stuff that happened post Crisis 2. So yes, and then Brainy even said that that the Phantom Zone has been fractured because of Crisis. Now it's not just one dimension; it's multiple pocket dimensions, all with different vibrational frequencies. So they don't know which dimension Kara herself has been sent to. Which then makes you wonder, like, could they not just check the projector? I mean, the projector, to my knowledge, wasn't destroyed. If my memory recalls correctly, it wasn't destroyed. So surely, well, I don't know if they actually. I don't even remember if they actually mentioned that in the last episode. If they could actually track her location through the projector itself, because then he fired a shot at her and then it sent her, or unless the coordinates weren't specific. I mean, I vaguely remember them mentioning something, but then I'm not sure what it was. I think if they can, then great. If they can't, then I guess it's back to the drawing board. But yeah, the Phantom Zone, of course, Crisis is screwing up even more things. Of course, Crisis is back to screwing up more things on Supergirl. So the Phantom Zone has been fractured into a million pieces, and they don't know which one of those pieces contains Kara and her dad. So yeah, I mean, I feel like that would be an interesting way to twist it, like, because they know they're looking for a Kryptonian, but they don't know that there's another Kryptonian in it. So I feel like if whatever kind of tracking method they use only leads them to one Kryptonian, they're gonna assume that it's Kara, but it might end up tracking onto her dad. But then that could mean that it could mean that they end up finding him, but then because then now their plan is to actually find a Phantom so that they can travel to the portal, but then they have to actually capture one first. I think I'm kind of anticipating things to go haywire there. So then, if they get separated, then the Kryptonian they track onto is her dad, but they can't confirm if it's Kara or her dad. So they just assume it's Kara, and then they pull him back, and then it's him that they pull out, and Kara is trapped there with the Phantoms all over. I mean, again, it would make for extra drama, but it's like I can't help but think like, oh, is that the way they're really going to go with it? So then later down the line, they end up actually bringing back her father and Kara. So it'll be like a nice kind of double rescue mission of sorts. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, we met Kara's dad. We met Kara's father, and yeah, I don't know. Let me say, right, I was shocked to see that she still has a father. The fact that she had a father, I knew, like she must have had a father the same way that that Cal had a father. But I was shocked to see that her father was still alive. That was like an amazing kind of like family member reveal that I never would have seen coming. But then yeah, I mean, it did like her having a father in itself didn't even click into my mind. All that shocked me in the moment was that the build up to that reveal. The fact that there was another person inside, that there was another survivor. Then they were revealed to have been under the same House of Elcrest that Clark and Kara are, and then to find out that maybe and then for her to even recognize him straight away as her father. So yeah, I mean, it kind of surprised me that he didn't recognize her immediately. I mean, well, he thought that she was like an actual manifestation of the Phantom's fears from years of being in the Phantom Zone. So I think he must have. I think yeah, because then that would have meant that he's seen presumably hundreds and thousands of other manifestations and other hallucinations created by the Phantoms to trick him into thinking that there's hope and into thinking that there's something good out there. So then I think chances are deep down he did kind of realize, oh wow, this must be Kara, because he could have remembered having like a young blonde teenage daughter that he lost to the disaster of Krypton and Argo many years ago. So then I think deep down he knew, but he didn't really mention it to her. He didn't really kind of reference it. He didn't really say anything out loud. He didn't really directly kind of confirm everything in the case that this is just like another vision that he's having. This is just another hallucination, but then it takes Kara actively recognizing him again to actually realize, oh, it's her father. And I don't think we've ever seen him before. I think the only other reveal we've had was her mother still being alive, but we've never even. I think we've never really, to my knowledge, we've never really heard anything about her father or seen any kind of glimpses of her father. I think the one episode I remember where she actually was having a hallucination in her mind of being back on Krypton and back with her family and back with everyone was actually like a hallucination thing that she was put under. So, but even in that one, I think it was mostly maybe I think maybe her mother and her aunt Astra too. Maybe am I thinking that correctly? I think maybe I could be wrong, but I mean, it was also like it was that same scene where Alex had to actually fight to get her to wake up and to convince her that none of it was real, and that she was actually fighting to actually get her to wake up and return home to Earth again. So that same episode is the one that's coming to mind. But yeah, we've met her father now, and he is, to put it lightly, he is a broken man. He's a broken man. He spent too many years in this place to really believe in anything good anymore, to believe in any kind of hope or anything. I mean, ironically enough, he still wears that sigil that literally means hope, and yet he's lost all hope. That is some painful irony. That is really painful irony. He still wears a sigil that means, among other things, it means hope and optimism, but he has neither of those things. Like, his literal mentality, is literally, you can't beat them, you can't beat the Phantoms, you can't escape in any way that they won't catch you and punish you further for doing that, so that literally the best thing you can do is just to kind of wallow in a cave of your own kind of loneliness and sorrow and pity and everything, and just hope that you can survive that way, which, like that begs question, I mean, me being human, like, it kind of begs question, where does he get his food from? Like, surely, I mean, because I can't imagine you get, like, even, like, a single Phantom that just comes by with, like, a tray full of food, and it's like, yeah, here's your food for, like, another day of mental torture. Like, it does not seem like that kind of place. Like, I think in that case, it definitely seems like the kind of place where you go there for eternal imprisonment, and I mean, Kryptonians live longer too, so I think that's even more harsh to bear. But they don't give you food, they don't give you any nourishment, so you just have to hope that you maybe starve to death quickly enough before further kind of insanity hits you. But yeah, I can't imagine there's that one Phantom or even like a group of Phantoms dedicated to actual nourishment of the prisoners, and they just fly around with trays and trays of food and stuff. I just can't imagine that's a thing. But he did have his own cave. He had like a whole campfire thing going on, so I assume, but he's already hesitant enough in going out into the actual wilderness where the Phantoms are, so I can't imagine he actively goes out and hunts even in secrecy. So I don't know, it just raises questions. But his whole idea was to survive and to not piss off or taunt the Phantoms any further. So you can't blame him. You can't entirely blame him, but you also want. I think Kara being there more recently, she still had that hope to cling on to. I think that was the parallel. Like, one person who'd been in there for eons and had lost everything, versus another person who was in there for who'd been in there for an hour, a couple of hours at most, and still had some sense of hope left. And her entire kind of persona and her personality is all about hope and courage and always finding a way and stuff like that. So it makes sense. It very much makes sense. And I won't lie, I was wondering, right, where, because I think it definitely, because it definitely showed Kara getting infected by the Phantoms before, like, a guy came around and saved her and stuff. So it definitely showed like several times, like an actual, like, a good few times while she was out there in direct encounter with the Phantoms. So that made it led to me not being able to help but wonder, was her father being there even real? Because, like, for one thing, he's been there for a tremendously long time. So, it's like, again, like, with the time he's been in there, like, how long could he have actually lived until he died of some kind of circumstance? But also the fact that, maybe this is because, like, I was thinking, like, one of her kind of lifelong fears that she's that she has fought against, but also used to push herself forward and to fight for a better future, is literally remembering everything she lost. Like, she lost her mother, she lost her home, she lost everyone she ever knew, and Cal was the only one left, and he was in Metropolis. He's got his own thing going on. He's got his own show now. But like losing her parents and her family and like losing everything. up until she discovered that Argo was a thing. It was like halfway through like season 2 or 3 or something that she actually found out that Argo City was a thing and that her mother was still alive, and there was actually like a fraction of Krypton still living and still kind of living in their own little bottle city and everything. Well, not like a bottle city, but like a dome bottle city and stuff. So up until then, I mean, I think even after that, I think even after that, she lived on and kept on fighting with the more positive memory that her family and stuff was still out there. And even after Crisis, even after Crisis, Oliver actually managed to bring everyone back and bring everything back, and Argo City was still up in the sky. So now she still has that. So I think I was wondering, even then, she still has especially her being a paragon, she remembers everything, like literally every single thing that happened even before Crisis. So. I was wondering, could there still, even deep down, because the trauma of losing your family and losing your home and all that stuff is something that can never really escape you, and that's something you can never really let go of. So, because of that, the way they've actually written her character is that she is that kind of hopeful kind of character. So she actively uses memories and traumas to actively push forward and be stronger and to fight for better tomorrows and everything. So. That it made me wonder, the way the Phantoms infected her. Could there have been even the tiniest kind of bad memory of losing her people that they could have latched onto? Because I think it doesn't latch onto it literally latches onto your nightmares and your fears and those kinds of negative aspects of your mind, instead of the positive ones. So could it have latched onto any final shred of maybe she has the memory of being that kind of person who thought she lost her family, so maybe that would be just as traumatizing too. So maybe it latched onto that and made her see her father let's trick her into thinking her father was still alive. It made me think that at certain points, but clearly it's not. Clearly, I mean, it's going to be crazy if that's the final plot twist of the next episode. If it's plot twist, your father's not alive, you've been talking to yourself all along, and you've been, maybe they use that too. Maybe they use hopelessness against her by giving her someone that she will recognize, and making that person out to be completely devoid of hope. It's a good enough kind of pretense to go along with that. Oh, maybe it's because her father's been in there for so long that he's lost all hope. But also, instead of that, take someone from that crest, take someone she knows, take someone from her family, make them wear the crest, and at the same time make them completely hopeless and completely pessimistic and stuff like that. And then in the end, make it that way, make it so that she has actually been talking to herself all along, and also kind of battling with that kind of looming threat of losing all hope and being stuck in the Phantom Zone forever. It would be a crazy thing, but I think it would also work for the episode. So I'm curious to see how they actually pull that off. But at the same time, it's give the girl some peace, give her some peace, give her even more family back. Give her she already has her mother living up on Argo, and even if they do bring her dad back, he can go straight back up to Argo and visit his wife again and be back on Argo and do stuff. So bring her dad back if assuming it really is him now, bring him back and let him live in peace too. No reason the Zora the Zor-El family. I mean, yeah, the House of El even more. Yeah, I mean, Clark's parents aren't coming back. Kal-El's parents aren't coming back. They're still kind of dead in sacrifice. So I don't know, but either way, let the House of El live in some way. Let the House of El live. If you can bring him back, then definitely bring him back. But yeah, just either way, it's just like a doubt I had that felt worth exploring. So yeah, and yeah, we had Kelly. Kelly Olsen, Guardian, the new Guardian 2.0. Kelly, I don't know if she has a middle name, Olsen. That would be a really awkward middle name. No, but Kelly is pure gold. She is absolute gold. She's just such a great motivational speaker. She's such a great kind of comforter. She's a great listener. I think, and I think her also being she's I think she was even in the army, she was a psychologist of some kind, or a trauma specialist of some kind. She dealt with soldiers who had various mental health conditions and whatnot, so she's very much used to dealing with people in crisis and stuff. But you just in general, she's just such a great person. She's just so good. She's so good with words. Wording is her personal superpower. She doesn't have super strength. She doesn't have super speed. No flight. No heat vision. She just listens and she tells you things, and your heart melts and you feel unstoppable. She just gives you words of encouragement and words of motivation that can change your life forever. That woman there is nothing that woman can't do. There's nothing that woman couldn't talk you into doing. You know, you'd be, probably just, like laying in bed whether or not, like laying in bed, like deciding, contemplating whether or not to actually get like a few minutes of like extra sleep after hitting the snooze button. But then she'd come by and talk to you, and you'd be like, yep, jumping out of bed, soaring through the roof, gonna brush your teeth in space instead and stuff. There's nothing she can't do. There's nothing she can't do. So seeing her giving that speech to Silas, and actually, like her line too. I think guilt proves that, like when Silas explains that he can't deal with the guilt of not having been able to save Owen, and he can't live with the even further guilt of getting Team Super Friends killed in action in the Phantom Zone, like her coming along, giving him that kind of motivational talk and being like, you have the chance to help save a life today. And I think it kind of ties back into, it ties back into what I was like talking about, like even earlier on in the episode, like him, like he like Silas is like an actual, like a vampire with a conscience. He actively tries and tries hard not to kill, not to take blood from actual people, so he goes to the blood bag instead and gets blood from there. And he even keeps it in little like jars and glasses in his actual fridge, and that's like something out of a horror movie. Like that is like something out of a horror movie. Like you go to someone's house, you open up their fridge, and just find like blood in jars and stuff. And it's been done before. It's definitely been done before. Like not even just vampires, like cannibals do that shit. So there's that. But he is like a good man, a good man trying to do the right thing. So here he actually has the opportunity and the chance to actually save an actual life directly, instead of actually skirting around the issue and finding other ways. So and Kelly reminds me of that. Like Kelly works to establish that in his mind, and she works to actually convince him to do the right thing and to stay strong and to do the right thing and everything. And even her line being like, the guilt that he feels about not being able to save not being able to save Owen, just goes to show that the love that they had was real. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to get into it, like if it's on the same wavelength or the same kind of length as this, but I think I think in the moment and thinking back to it now, it kind of does remind me of Vision's line from WandaVision, being like, like that classic line that blew up the internet and got everybody memeing and feeling at the same time, being like, what is love what is grief if not love persevering? Like it reminds me of that, but in this case, it's like him. In that case, it's about actually moving on and actually processing your feelings and actually dealing with the loss and not trying to bring your dead family members back to life and everything. But in this case, like her being like the guilt you feel is proof that the love was real. Like him being like him not letting the guilt overtake him and making him feel worse. Like he could have done more, or he could have, or he just didn't do enough to begin with. But him, actively, trying again and letting someone else who's preventing someone else from suffering the same fate he did by actually, actively working with more people, working with more minds, and actually trying harder and working on stuff. Like Kelly's amazing. Kelly is amazing. Kelly and Alex deserve each other. They're both amazing in their own strengths and qualities. And Kelly did nothing in this episode except for literally lift people up. She was uplifting in this episode. That's literally all that happened, and I love it. I mean, again, could have had more. Could have had, I mean, I get that tensions are high, and it's not exactly the. I mean, I honestly don't know if we're gonna get a better time. I mean, the only justification I can find for not having like Alex revealing Kara's identity to Supergirl would be like, tensions are high right now. It's probably not the best time to bring it up, but at the same time, it's like, this would go to show exactly, why it's even more important to actually save Kara because Kara's Supergirl. I think I'm honestly, I don't know if I'm surprised. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, because I was thinking, maybe Kelly would be like, why don't you guys call Supergirl? Maybe she can actually help out. I mean, she's probably dealt with alien worlds and alien dimensions like that before. Maybe you can call Supergirl to help out, and then Alex would be like, yeah, Kelly, about that. Kara and Supergirl are one and the same. So if Kara's not here and if Supergirl's not here, then it kind of means the obvious thing, babe. Like just put two together and stuff like that. So but Kelly was remarkable in this episode nonetheless. She's remarkable, and Ozzy plays her to perfection. So hats off to both of them, to the character and the actress behind the character. So I can't wait to see more of Kelly I mean, I want to see more, obviously. I want to see her actually being Guardian, actually fighting and doing more. Because I think, as great as she is with words, I'm sure she's an even greater kind of Guardian 2.0, pretty much. So I'd love to see more kind of cooperative action between her and Alex, and just more kind of Kelly and Alex moments overall. So it's cool nonetheless. But I mean, I feel like we could have had it in this as like an actual emotional booster, but at the same time, it's like maybe wait until Kara's back, and maybe even then, once we get Kara back, maybe have Alex convince Kara to tell her herself, because I mean, it's not really her identity, it's Kara's identity, and stuff like that ties into it. So I mean, that's completely up to them. If Alex feels like it's the right kind of time or the right kind of way to tell Kelly that that Kara is Supergirl, then sure. But otherwise, I mean, yeah, because I don't know, because I mean, right now with Alex, like her current trauma, her current struggle is literally her not knowing if it's even possible to bring Kara back from the Phantom Zone, and actually thinking and struggling to fall into that pit of believing that she's lost her forever, and that's the last you'll ever see of her. So then, and especially under that kind of reasoning, if she does I feel like if she does, then I think if she does fall into that pit, then I feel like she might do it, like being like, okay, well then she's never coming back. She has, she's never going to have any other say as to whether or not I should tell you this. But either way, let's just go forward with it. But then if she actually does it, if they do get close to getting Kara back, and they finally do get her back, then it'll be like, then I think she'll be able to kind of confirm with Kara if it's okay to actually, tell Kelly this kind of secret and stuff, or maybe even convince Kara to tell her herself, because then Kara is still Kelly's friend down, and through and through, through and through they're still friends. They're not just connected because Kelly's dating her sister, but they are still friends deep down, and they love each other just as much. So I guess it all comes down to time. But yeah, the Kelly stuff is golden. I'm glad that they still gave us something. I'm glad they still gave us something, even if they didn't really give us what we needed after the last episode. But at the same time, it's still good, and it's still great. And I think this episode that material still goes to show how great Kelly is, and how great of a person she is deep down, even behind the shield. So it was fun nonetheless. And speaking more legally and socially and politically, we had the trial of Lex Luthor. I feel like that would make for an awesome title name, like an episode title, the trial of Lex Luthor. But we had it condensed down into this one episode anyway, which seemed fairly well paced. And they had everyone on a Zoom call. I feel like that is one of the biggest signs of that entire episode being filmed during COVID precautions and stuff, like them quarantining the actors and then actually having the jury on different Zoom call monitors, and the most awkward Zoom call ever, just having them on Zoom. I mean, I don't even know where you'd put them. I mean, I don't know if they actually said where they put them, but they just said that they were actually going to be outside the safe house, so as for their own safety, but also for having those extras being there for COVID, safety regulations and whatnot, and having social distancing between the witness and the actual defendant. I hate, it makes sense why they did it, character-wise, but I hate they had Lex being his own lawyer, because, you'd think, given what happened at the end, he would end up paying off his own lawyer to defend him like a crazy fan person or something, but no, he that's the thing about Lex, he loves himself enough to actually defend himself effectively, so it makes him even more, egotistical, so he was more than happy to be his own defense and stuff, so he did that, and then Eve was the first one to come in, and he managed to completely flip the tables on her and paint her out as the crazy ex who just couldn't let him go, which I mean, even before, even pre-Crisis in season 4, with the whole kind of Eve shooting James and Eve being loyal to Lex and stuff, that was how they actually kind of painted her too, the crazy ex that just couldn't let go and was devoted to him and loyal to him. But then back then, from what I remember, Lex didn't really have more than any kind of reservations about her, because he still thought, oh, it's a loyal pawn that I can talk to do my bidding. But then season 5 comes, we get a completely different backstory for Eve, and then he manipulates her into doing stuff for him, and then he reveals that he doesn't actually love her at all, and that he's actually got Mossad agents outside her mum's house ready to kill her and all that kind of jazz, and he even gets her to kill Kara's dad too, what was his name? Jebediah? Was it Jebediah or Josiah or Jeremy? Not Jeremy, I think. What was his name? Jesse? I don't know. What was Supergirl's? What was the Danvers dad's name? Josiah or Jezebel? Not Jezebel. Not Jezebel. Not Jeremy. Josiah sounds accurate. Jebediah also sounds accurate. Jezediah. I don't know. Whatever the dad's name was, whatever it was, he tricked her into killing him too. Because I don't know what motive he gave. I think he gave her poison and said that she could actually poison him with that, or like a knife. Or he gave her some kind of, I think, poison, because I think that she did say that he was actually poisoned whilst on his own little kind of trip abroad in the wilderness and stuff. So she killed him. But then I don't know how exactly. I think he gave her some kind of motive, saying that he was actually a man who was evil and out to get her and her mother or something. But then he later revealed that, oh, it's actually Supergirl's dad that you killed, and used that against her to blackmail her and stuff. So then he used all this evidence, all the intel he built up over the years, to try and paint her as the crazy ex, and even using Lena's and Eve's testimonies as oh, the crazy women who won't let the man get away with the power he has, and him trying to be the good guy with the power and all that kind of jazz. So yeah, but Lena, she was like Kelly. She had power this episode. Lena had power upon power upon power this episode. She walked in to that courtroom like she owned the place, as she should. She walked in and she took control of everything. And yeah, I think the entire episode, the kind of tension was really based on as to whether or not Lena should testify, because there's as much. I mean, my main concern was the trauma of actually having to revisit everything that Lex had made her do and manipulated her into believing and doing over the years, and her having to revisit every last one of those memories. And even Andrea like catcoping, being the one that's actually reporting that murder, and then William being there watching everything happening on the TV and stuff like that. So Andrea initially kind of tried to get her to do like an interview or like a piece or something, and then that kind of understandably drove Lena away. But then the more the trial went on, even seeing Eve herself being toppled by Lex in the end kind of inspired her to actually consider doing her own testimony, because I think despite everything that she has done alongside him, she's also the only one with the actual power to, or at least the one with the most power, able to actually show people who he really is. And I think she personally understood that too. It's not just about getting him charged and convicted on his crimes. It's about showing people who he really is. Like, he loves to paint himself as this kind of martyr and as this kind of man of power who wants to save the world and help people and stuff. But it's like exactly what he thinks the threat is, how he's trying to fight said threat, who he's willing to kill, what he's willing to do, and what he has done to the people who have gotten in his way, and who he's willing to manipulate and stuff. Like, I like showing people the kind of egotistical, maniacal manipulator that he is. The fact that he uses people to get what he wants and stuff is exactly what she needed. So I feel like it's still partially there. I mean, yeah, again, like that whole kind of understanding was there. That whole understanding was there among the jury, especially. So it was literally just because by the end of it, Otis actually got through. He got through with the disguise, and Lex ensured. And he assured Lex that he actually managed to get to everyone, like the judge, jury, and the executioner, and he actually managed to bribe them off. So all of them actually agreed, for the sake of them and presumably their families too. They agreed to actually drop all charges and let him go as a free man. So literally, that is his power. His power also lets him do whatever he wants and get away with whatever he wants. So he can do all of this, and then to him, like 2-3 hours in a courtroom is a pain. It is like a drop in the bucket compared to everything else he plans on doing with his time. So he went in knowing that by the end of it he could do it. But then that whole kind of speech he gave, and I think especially I love that Lena was able to. Lena at the very least was able to do that, to actually get him to lash out, to get him to raise his voice, to throw a temper tantrum, and try and emotionally prove, to get the jury to see him as the man who earned his power and the man who was being taken down by all these former female accomplices, and that whole kind of concept too. So it shows you who Lex Luthor is. It shows you who Lex Luthor is, and Lena being Lena, she managed to actually get him to show that side of himself too, with the whole Nona Cherry thing going on, and him using that against her and for completely different purposes too. So Lena came and Lena conquered. She came and she conquered. So hats off to her. Hats off to her for that. But yeah, then the backlash came. The backlash came with the court then deciding whether or not Lena herself should be acquitted for those charges, charges of her involvement with Lex on various science projects, and her kind of being equally convictable on said charges. So I think she went in pretty much knowing what would happen. I think she was willing. She was willing to risk all. Even Lillian kind of visiting her before that kind of showed her that she'd be facing all those risks, just in an attempt to testify against Lex. But I think she was willing to do that, because I think because I think that was then also like the further point that chances are Lex might be able to actually somehow, just by some miracle, get to bribe the juries off or pay them off or scare them off or something from actually convicting him with that thing. But then deep down, if she can actually show the people who Lex is, then there can still be some suspicions there. But then the risk also comes with like Lena having some previous involvement, whether it was unbeknownst to her or not. She still had like that kind of involvement, so that is the risk she must pay. So I guess going forward we'll see exactly how that impacts her character too. And I think the Luther name kind of stays strong still now with Lex and Lillian kind of back in the running and everything. But Lena is the one who has to kind of keep an eye out over her shoulder, watch if anything is watch if anyone is actually feeling kind of sus about her and wanting to eject her and stuff. I don't mean to insert any Among Us puns, but still, I think it's going to be interesting to see. But I think Lena being Lena, she knows that she has friends and allies in her corner and stuff. And yeah, why not bring Lena in to help rescue? I think she has brains, she has technology, she has intellect and skills and talents and stuff. Like bring Lena in to help actually track down the accurate. I think help Lena, bring Lena in to try to help her to help track down the accurate pocket dimension of the Phantom Zone that Kara is trapped in. I feel like she's going to be the one to do that. I feel like she's going to be the one to actually pick, discover which dimension that she's actually in and stuff. I mean, it's all very, very kind of muddled up and like intertwined with what everyone's doing and when they're doing and stuff. But I don't want this entire season to be dedicated to Lena having to struggle with clearing her name or struggle with proving that she's actually a good person despite what her last name is. But hopefully she gets some justice, and hopefully she gets some actual a life of freedom and peace with the people that she loves and the person that she loves. So yeah, hopefully she does. Hopefully she gets that. And we had Nia training to try and dream up the accurate location of Kara in the Phantom Zone, and she's struggling. I think it's like they're likely returning to her previous struggles of not really knowing enough about dream language and dream kind of terminology and her understanding of how to interpret her dreams and interpret her visions and do that kind of stuff is not as strong as her mother's was or as her sister's was. So the sister name drop definitely kind of made me. I mean, it makes me wonder if we're actually going to see Maeve back in the show again, because they didn't exactly end things on any positive terms. So it makes me wonder if she's actually going to try and call Maeve up and try and encourage any kind of reconciliation or encourage any further bonding. But either way, I think we're definitely going to see her not only physically training but also actually doing her own training to actually work harder to actually study the kind of dream analysis and dream language and learning how to actually interpret dreams accurately and correctly. So that should be a fun journey to see her go on. But she's got physically speaking, she's got things on the like her and Alex just doing paired up combat roles in the Watchtower, her doing combat roles, like Alex's combat roles, and then blasting a gun, and then Dreamer's combat roles and blasting a dream wave, and her doing the shot. She's got the dream blasts and the shield stuff on lockdown. She's got all of it on lockdown. So, and even that combined dream shield with Jean and McGann's kind of combined mental kind of powers to hold it together. Like her teamwork and even her individual kind of power work is just off the charts. So I can just tell the action sequences with Dreamer in this season is going to be really, really fun to see. So I'm loving that. But yeah, that is pretty much it. That is pretty much all I have picked up from this episode. So it was an interesting one. It was an interesting one, very, very dramatic and action-packed, as Supergirl most of the time is. So yeah, going forward, we can definitely see exactly how Kara and her father go about capturing the Phantom to try and use it to get back out of the Phantom Zone and using a portal and stuff, and how the team on the other side works to... Because I think now they're going to have a harder time now that Silas is infected, so they're going to have to try and find a way to cure him or rid him of that kind of phantom infection and find a way to battle that, and then they're going to have to try and find a way to open up the portal, which I think that might be where Lena comes in. Lena, they're going to give Lena the tech they already have. She might actually analyze it and actually try and work out her own way of actually opening up a portal, maybe even one that's more accurate, and then the team's going to have to help Silas overcome his own demons and overcome that kind of stuff. And I think that would be a great way to bring Kelly back into, but then also actually give us some Guardian Kelly. That would be cool. And then we can find out how Lena and the team further battles Lex's freedom and his any further criminal activities he has planned against them or against National City or anything like that. So that should be fun. But yeah, all in good time. All in good time. But that is pretty much all I got from this one. So let me know what you guys thought, what your thoughts are on this episode, and what your theories are going forward. But yeah, that is all. So that was Supergirl Season 6, Episode 2. So thank you guys, as always, so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next time on Supergirl. Once again, the full-length reaction for the episode will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. And yeah, that is it. So, I will see you guys next time.